Hello, my name is Stephanie Rogers, and I'm the Executive and Artistic Director of the Anderson Center at Tower View. This video is part of the artistic response team of Red Wing, and today it's my pleasure to be interviewing Leslie Stewart, an artist who lives in Pepin, Wisconsin. Welcome, Leslie. Could you introduce yourself by telling the audience about your medium and your work?
I am an oil painter, a pastelist, a mural painter. I make books, and I also carve rubber stamps and do stamp art related to mail and book art. So lots of varied interests.
Those are a wide range of interests. How did you get started as an artist? Was there one medium that was your gateway into all of this creativity?
When I was very young, my mother was in school at UW-Oshkosh for art. And it seemed magical to me, and she gave me free rein in her paint box. So, I started very young, and it's always been just a part of my life, and I'm grateful to have it as an accompaniment to this life. I can't remember a time when I wasn't making art.
Are there recurring themes or reliable sources of inspiration for the things you make?
I'm primarily a landscape painter at present. When I first left art school, I went to Minneapolis College of Art and Design in the mid-'70s. I was doing large figurative pieces. And since then, I've been doing smaller works due to time and space constraints, and went to landscape. And growing up in the North Woods and then moving to this beautiful part of the state here on the Mississippi River, true inspirations for landscape painting. So I do have recurring themes within that. A lot of water paintings, woods, trees, forests, fields, and sometimes I will do places that have special significance to me. I will do series. I've been working on a Lake Pepin series that I started last year. I think I'm about 10 paintings into that. Maybe it will turn into 100 by the time I'm done, because I love the varying light and atmosphere and seasons of certain places that I visit frequently, and Lake Pepin is truly magical for that. And also there is a Pine Creek and Maiden Rock Bluff nearby. You may have hiked Maiden Rock Bluff. It's lovely if you haven't. And there's also a place in northern Wisconsin. This is a series I just started of 2 boathouses across the bay from a cabin that we stayed in for many years that I photographed at all times of weather and seasons. And that's personally very dear to me, as we spent a lot of time there when my kids were young, and it was my son's favorite place. And I had lost my son 3 years ago. So the series is kind of processing that grief, and it's very special to me.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I have also made work to process things that have been very sad or traumatic in my life.
Right, yeah. Art heals.
What are you working on right now, or what's coming next?
When the COVID-19 first came, I was cranking out lots of little 6 by 8 inch landscapes. And about a month into that, I started to lose focus. A month into the quarantine time. And there were a lot of requests for people needing masks locally. So I volunteered to sew a bunch of masks, and went back to sewing for a bit. But I think when I get back to it, which I hope is soon, I'll be resuming the boathouse theme and more Lake Pepin paintings. And hopefully I'll get to the larger figurative works that I really want to return to. What
has challenged you most as an artist?
Time. I hear that a lot from other artists as well. I've always worked. So time has been at a premium, and plus raising a family. So yeah, that none of which I would trade, of course, because it all informs what we do. But yeah, time has been a big issue.
Is there a point in your career where you feel like you've made it, or you got to a certain point that you'd been working towards or hoping to achieve?
I'm not sure any artist is going to say that they felt that they've made it. I hope that they would. I think maybe we get some trail markers, if you will, that indicate we're on the right path. Whether it's your mother saying she likes your work, or when I first started out, I was doing art fairs, and I always took it as a good sign that little kids liked my work. It's very colorful. I think too, one of the most significant things that has taught me more than even going to art school was working for Stan Sears and Andrea Myklebust at their sculpture studio in Stockholm. That was a wonderful learning experience working with them. So,
What did you do for them?
I worked as a studio assistant, but I was hired to begin with to finish up a huge project they were doing for UW La Crosse. And so I helped finish out sculptures, which was new to me. I never had taken even a sculpture class, but I was very honored that they had purchased one of my paintings at the Lake Pepin Art and Design Center during one of our shows. And Andrea told me that Stan said, I think she has the eye I'm looking for to work on these sculptures. And so I did painting, sanding, some stone finishing, metal finishing, all of it, stuff that I had never had experience with. So it was a great learning curve.
Wow.
And they're very inspirational folks.
That was a beautiful farm. I had a chance to visit before they.
Yes. I miss them.
What advice would you give to an aspiring artist?
I would tell them to make lots of art at every opportunity. And sometimes, and to not get frustrated. I think maybe we have to get the bad art out there to make room for the good art sometimes, to just keep doing it. I remember when I left art school, in fact, in the 70s, I couldn't afford to go anymore. And I was somewhat bereft at that point. But one of my professors said, don't worry, he says, nobody can really tell you how to make your art. And you just do your stuff. Yeah.
You mentioned that you would like to make large-scale figurative works again. Do you have other artistic goals that you feel like you're working towards?
Well, actually, this came out of a request from someone who had bought one of my earlier paintings many years ago, and they found me again, and they were, I think they were disappointed to find these tiny landscapes because they had bought a very large figurative from me, but. And he gave me some large canvases. So I took that as maybe I should do this again. And I also like, because I'm confined by space here, and I work very small most of the time, I also do murals. When I have the need to paint big again, I'll try to find a mural project. I painted the back end of my garage a few years ago. And about 5 years ago, I finished a big mural at the Laura Museum in Pepin, to show what Lake Pepin may have looked like when the Laura Ingalls Wilder family crossed Lake Pepin in the winter on their way west. So that was a good project.
Are there places that people can see your work online or in the community?
I haven't got a website yet. I'm not a real prolific artist, so I feel like I need to have a lot more to establish a website. I'm very fortunate to have some devoted patrons who buy my things. I post them on Facebook, and they do get purchased rather quickly. But I do have paintings at the Purple Turtle Artisan collected in Stockholm. She's got prints there of some of my work. I have my stamped cards at Stockholm Gardens and Indigo Swan, and Latinese Blacksmith Shop in Pepin also has some of my work. Otherwise, it's on my Facebook page or Instagram and Pinterest for now.
Great. Is there anything else I should ask you, or that you want to talk about and think people should know about your work?
Well, the best thing that people who appreciate and buy my work tell me, and it seems simplistic, but maybe that's enough for now, is that my work makes them conveys calmness and serenity to them and makes them feel good. And maybe that's just enough for now. So
that sounds great. That sounds a lot like looking at Lake Pepin itself.
yes, yes.
And getting to see it through your eyes. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. Again, this has been an initiative of the Artistic Response Team of Red Wing, which is made up of the Anderson Center, Art Reach, Red Wing Arts, Universal Music Center, and the Sheldon Theater. Thanks so much, Leslie, and we'll see you around in the community when we all get back out again.
Very good. Thank you, Stephanie.